They'll be different.
So with the display, we have two aircraft just entering from the Martello Towers. There's smoke streaming behind them, diving down towards the wind farm and heading towards the pier. As they fly past us on the beach and they start pitching up, you can hear the sound of that wonderful engine. They pirouette in the sky for us here at Clacton Air Show.
It must be such a thrill for those on the boats, and there are loads of boats now between us and the wind farm, barges as well and cruisers with people on, and the ravens were just literally flying directly over them.
Absolutely, must have a fantastic view on the boats looking up at the ravens as they fly by. And in fact the pilots really enjoy flying here from Clacton because the airfield, as we know, is literally on top of the beach. So the pilots basically take off, they throttle up, and as they're still throttling up, the wheels are only just going in and they're already on the display line. So we've got a wonderful twisting manoeuvre here as one of the aircraft flies in a straight line and the other one pirouettes around his smoke's tail. You can see the markings of the aircraft in the blue and white design that they've got on the wingtips there, showing the wonderful aerodynamic design. It's an extremely lightweight aircraft and it makes it wonderful for aerobatic flying. You can see the lights lit up as they aim towards us here at the commentary point.
This is a great chance for a photo if you're on the seafront as they pull up, four across, high into the sky, smoke trailing.
Wonderful break. There's two aircraft in the centre, two either side. One goes towards the pier, one goes to the Martello Tower, and the other two are now flying out towards the wind farm. So we can see opposition manoeuvres of the two aircraft here in the beach. And an opposition pass. Oh, that was close, Ian, you missed that. So the pilots obviously do a huge amount of training with the formation, and the formation isn't just in the aircraft. When they're training for this, they actually walk the routine on the ground, sometimes called dirt diving. So if you're an air show or an airfield where the weather's bad, and you see a group of pilots wandering around doing a little dance in the dirt, they're actually doing their formation practice on the ground.
Wow, I've seen like a comedy skit like during lockdown with people dressed as red arrows sort of doing it on the ground. But you mean to say these pilots will do that on the ground to kind of getting into their heads the routine?
Absolutely, it's a technique that was introduced way back when barnstorming began between the wars, when the pilots were flying biplanes to entertain people, literally flying through barns on airstrips, and they started to do formations, and that old-fashioned formation flying techniques still stand today, where the pilots walk on the ground and they'll do the choreographed manoeuvre together. They'll use hand signals, which is often used in the air. Sometimes the clock's not working and hand signals will do the job just as good. We're seeing lots of lovely half-cubans and roll-off tops today. Lots of gentle manoeuvres. So we've got a two-ship flying out towards the wind farm and pulling up. Smoke has just gone off. Where have the other two gone hiding in? Can we spot them?
I can. Their lights are.
And then some teams create manoeuvres that are quite kind of technical and they give them a name. So with the Ravens, they do a wonderful 3 loops, one after the other, with a 1.5 second separation time between each loop for each aircraft, and they call that the caterpillar.
I can see why. And as the two that are currently performing in front of us, finding quite close formation and now they're just splitting apart into it almost looks like, it reminds me of calligraphy. I'm going to write in the sky. That's two streams of something so close and neat together.
It's almost like a work of art, isn't it? For the benefit of us here at Clacton Air Show. And I'm looking forward to our hearts. We always get lots of hearts here at Clacton. Made a road.
It really is quite magical.
Made a street.
Wonderful sound of the engines. Remember, as we heard from Sid, Raven 1 a little earlier by BBC Essex Radio Air Show, they can see, not individually, they won't be able to pick you out individually, but they do see the crowd, so please give them plenty of support to all of our display teams. Good waves and clapping, because they will notice that, and that will give them such a boost.
I was chatting to one of the Ravens earlier in the week, Wells, who's sadly not flying with us today. He's hoping to be back tomorrow to bring us a 5-ship display tomorrow.
Oh, Sam, this is for you.
Oh, look at the wonderful heart.
We've just drawn a huge heart. Come on, Clacton, let's have a round of applause for that heart from Team Raven.
Going to see a form of the caterpillar loop, perhaps. Double loop there.
There's a few confused seagulls flying by, thinking what is happening today.
Everyone's chips on the beach.
Yeah, you have to be careful with your chips. You can make that sound of the water just lapping the shore in front of us. We've got a big bit of beach in front of the beach. It's fenced off.
Eyes over to left towards the pier, and the aircraft are now in a tight formation for ship. Smoke's going on, they're climbing out in front of us here, and I think we're going to see some twizzling, Ian, as the aircraft pirouette breakaway into a fan break.
You can't beat a good twizzle.
Especially when it's airborne.
Going over that barge, you're on that barge that just had before fly over. What a great view.
And talking of a great view, the pilots of the Ravens team actually said they think Clacton is a
Clacton Air Show. BBC Essex.
More action on the skies, in the skies on the way. You're with BBC Essex.
Go out.
300-400 feet above the sea there. And he flies inverted and he's pulling the aircraft and it's still a common aircraft to be used for aerobatic competitions today. Which turns the smoke off at the top there and bumbles the aircraft down, smokes back on, dropping up, going down towards the sea, up along the beach towards Martello's and a lovely view of the biplane wings there, which you can past us at the commentary point here at Clacton Air Show. He's loving his tumbles this afternoon, Ian. Do you fancy a go?
I'll let you know. I'll come back to you on that. I have done a little bit of trying with an aerobatic display pilot once, flew me upside down and round, and I went a little green, put it that way. But you'd be alright. You're used to being up there, aren't you?
I started an aerobatic. It's fun.
I'm glad you're down on the ground though with us, taking us through the action, not in the sky today. Flying really is in Rich's DNA, really, isn't it? His father Ken flew fast jets in the RAF, so I suppose he was destined to take that up as well. He trained on the Hawk, the jet which is flown by the Red Arrows, that will be here later this afternoon at 4:30. The Red Arrows will be here, and then he's flown Tornadoes. He flew in Desert Storm in the First Gulf War, and then he went on to fly in the airline industry, flying Boeings for a living. So he really has done it all, hasn't he? From the RAF to civilian Boeings and airlines to, well, being a fantastic acrobat in the skies. Aerobatics, he's been doing that for more than 30 years, so his flying hours must be incredible.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have to ask him later on, Ian, how many hours he's flown. And in fact, he's been part of the British Aerobatic Association for many years. That's a great way for them to get into British Aerobatic. So the one thing about the Clacton coastline is the landmarks. You've got the Pier 1 end, the Martello Tower, the other, the barge, the wind farm, which is very indicating this position. But obviously these pilots have a huge amount of training. When he's up there, he'll also be looking not just at new conditions, but looking at the weather coming in. He'll also be looking at
has certainly been hot for the past couple of weeks, but today very humid here in Clacton. Radio show on Sea Essex. They're going up into the sky, almost corkscrewing his way high above us. So yeah, it's wonderful to see how when he gets to the top of the corkscrew and he just hovers the aircraft, the smoke goes off, and he just almost sort of stays still in the sky, just sitting there before he drops the aircraft back down again. It's wonderful to think that it was 30 years ago that Rich first picked up his first aerobatic trophy, flying a Hawk in advanced flying training. And he says that that buzz has never really left him. The thrill of spinning an aircraft around the sky. The smoke's really pluming out the back. We've got a fantastic smoke system on board there.
Just a word about the safety boats that you'll see going up and down the seafront. We ask that you don't go too far out into the water. A bit of paddling going on despite the shower of rain that we have at the moment, but please don't go too far out into the water as we have to have the water clear whilst the planes are displaying ahead.
And cameras at the ready. This is the last pass, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Rich is flying at a 45-degree angle on knife edge. You can see the top of the wing as he hovers across the beach. The smoke pluming out the back.
Now look to the sky as promised, coming in
direction of the gable end of the seafront. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause please, let's welcome the Bronco! Come on, you can do better than that. I know you're holding your umbrellas with one hand, which makes clapping a little harder. But, now I see why they were wearing bright orange jumpsuits, because the plane that Sam, you can describe for us, has flashes of that bright orange on its livery.
Absolutely, it's a dark military green design, and the pilot Tony Brin has a bright orange flying suit, always very easy to find him at any air show.
Boy, slow down!
An American Bronco. It was conceived by two US Marines who built a concept prototype in their garage, would you believe, back in the 1960s. It was built by North American Rockwell, and the first flight was in 1965. It served in the US branches of the Air Force, the Navy and the Marines from the mid-60s to the mid-1990s. And the original concept called for the Bronco to also be amphibious. So for those of you at home that can see this, the aircraft is a really unusual design. It's very with a very large high wing and then a deep kind of L-shape at the back of the car.
Yeah, it's got sort of two bits coming out of the back. Like most planes we see have one tail coming out, it's kind of got two tails coming out that are linked with a bar, so you get this sort of square made out of the shape of the aircraft. And when it sort of flies in the skies above us like that, we can see, we can see the shape of a square made out by the structure of the plane. And those orange wingtips really stand out, don't they, against the sort of slightly grey skies over Clacton this afternoon.
Absolutely, I mean this is the full name of the aircraft is the North American Rockwell Overtone Bronco. It's an American turbo light attack and observation aircraft. It was used for counter-insurgency combat and primary missions as forward air control aircraft. It can carry up to 3 tons of external munitions, internal loads such as paratroopers or stretchers, and it can loiter in the air for 3 or more hours. Cargo area can hold over 2,400 pounds of cargo, 6 paratroopers, 2 stretchers and a medic, although today it's just got Tony Brin on board. Now Tony has flown this aircraft since 2001 and he refurbed it fully in 2008. He said he loves its manoeuvrability and he likes to be able to show us off during the display. It's fully aerobatic, it's got great visibility for the pilot, which is what made it so good for all of those missions for kind of going out and doing reconnaissance. The canopy is a glass dome around the pilot, so Tony said you literally feel like you're sat on top of the world. The Bronco team actually have 20 people on the team back at their base in Belgium. It's Gyroplane, I probably can't pronounce that right, Clacton in Belgium, and the S in World War I as the fighter base, which is why the aircraft actually has German markings, which shows there is a message of peace and reconciliation. Flying over the wind farm now, we're seeing lots of high-speed passes. So you can see the orange tips of the wings glint in the sky there. You see a combination of high-speed passes and low-speed dirty passes, they're called. What we want to look out for is a top side pass, and you get a wonderful view of that huge top wing. original design of the aircraft was to fly past the wind farm, over the barges and banks out, heading out to sea. Now the Bronco actually has armour protection. It's got bullet-resistant windshields and self-sealing fuel cells for operating in hostile environments. The Bronco was originally designed to use roads for takeoff and landing, and it can also operate from an aircraft carrier. It's actually still operational out in the Philippines, ideally suited to the jungle environment, and they're operating Broncos out there and spending a lot of money maintaining them and keeping them operational. They use them for live ground attack, and because the jungle is kind of similar to Vietnam where it was originally designed for, this is why the aircraft is still in capacity today.
Lovely bit of wind waggling just then as we got to see both sides of the aircraft.
So if Tony's sticking with his normal routine, then we'll be looking for a steep approach coming through, and then an example of a slowing down for a landing. So he's hovering at the moment, high up in the sky above the barges, just to the left of the wind farm as we look at it from the commentary point here. And we can see him coming down quite a steep approach towards the centre of the beach.
Similar perhaps to a helicopter, but what is that?
This is an auto gyro, and flying today is Peter Davis. It is a Rotorsport Palladius Rotax 914, an engine of 115 horsepower. It's a tandem two-seat aircraft, which means you sit one behind the other, and it is a wonderful aircraft for demonstrating gyroscopics at low speed and close to the crowd. Now Peter can see us from the cockpit, so make sure you give him lots of waves this afternoon. So it looks a bit like a helicopter, but it's not quite a helicopter. In the most simplistic view, it's like flying a windmill or even a rotating parachute. The rotor blades of the gyro are completely freewheeling in flight, being driven solely by the air going up through the rotor disc. There's no mechanical drive to the rotors in flight. The phenomenon of auto-rotation drives them. And once airborne, the rotators just look after themselves and they keep on spinning, even if the airspeed indicator is showing 0. Now, if none of that makes any sense, you know little windmills, Ian, that you stick on the sand in the beach and the wind blows the windmill around. It's pretty much the same concept.
Yes, there's a few of those on the beach. In fact, there's a lady spinning her black umbrella just in front of us on the beach, in front of the commentary point, so spinning almost in time with the blades of the auto gyro. Oh, it's wiggling his bottom now. Look, did you see that?
Look at that manoeuvrability, that's fantastic. Now this aircraft is really lightweight. Empty, it's only 300 kilograms, and fully loaded up for takeoff, it's 500 kilograms. He can cruise up to 100 miles an hour with a maximum speed of 120 miles per hour, but he can also fly as slow as 20 miles an hour. He has a range of about 4 hours, so when Peter came down from up north, he's based up near Blackpool. He came yesterday evening. So he had a lovely transit down, and he has to completely reconfigure the aircraft for show after the transit. He has to remove the fuel tanks that he uses for transit flying from the rear seat of the cockpit. He has to install the smoke system and the smoke oil and check it's all working. And then it's really important because without the smoke it would be quite hard to see such a little aircraft. And also the other thing that he carries in the transit is coloured gloves and a big hand. Now he tells me to look out today because he has a big hand that's red and a big hand that's green. So I'm not sure which colour he's going to bring up today.
Oh, we can't wait for that. So if you're listening then to Radio Air Show on Clacton Seafront, or indeed on Clacton Pier, keep an eye on that cockpit for those big coloured hands. And as he flies past us, literally now past us on the commentary point, because the canopy is so big and so visible, we see him, don't we, sitting there. And this is the first time we've been able to see one of the pilots as they perform in front of us.
it almost looks like there's no canopy today, doesn't it? It looks like he's just sat there on top of the aircraft and he's spinning around with the smoke fuming out the back, going quite low